All right. It's just evening now. Tomorrow's Memorial Day. I hope this recording doesn't screw up like it did this morning. I did 15 minutes and then it stopped at 13 minutes and went back to 0 on its own, and I didn't record anything. So I'm back at Starbucks, and I'm just waiting for, well, you know the story, what I said. I left you a message, a cat be born again. Anyway, this is HRM, Cesar St. Augustine de Buenaparte, one of the 300 presidential candidates. I set out my 5th challenge with the deadline of Father's Day. The one previous to that was Mother's Day. The one previous to that was St. Patrick's Day. And I could go on mentioning. Go see the videos if you want to know. And nobody's watching the videos anyway. I don't get very many views. I get 1 or 2. When I do a video, it's 2 or 3 people manage to get the time to look at my rant and raving and whatever else they want to come up with. I'll never be on stage with that idiot Bilderberg President Obama or the idiot Romney. I tried. Actually, I'll repeat this from one of my other videos. I had an alternative presidential debate when Bush was running against Kerry in 2004. At that time, a lady friend of mine who thought herself to be empress, which she wasn't. She suffered from some very serious illnesses. She ended up passing away, but she said a lot of good things. And so I debated 4 other unknown presidential candidates on an FM station in St. Louis. And they didn't tell me that they were going to be asking their claim. They claimed they had 1 million people that were, commuters going to work on the freeways in St. Louis, Missouri area. That they had, they boasted having more than 1 million commuters that were listening to their station. So while Bush and Kerry were debating one of those days, I was debating 4 unknown candidates, and they didn't tell me they were going to be asking those commuters to vote. Well, they voted, and I won all 4 debates, and I got more than 95% of the vote in each one of the votes of all 4 debates. I don't know. I was really blown away by that. I said, there's that many people, and I'm voting for me, and I'm not getting any press, no national news media. That sounds to me like the media is controlled. Bilderberg Group, Trilateral Commission, International Monetary Fund, big money interest. But, hey, those 1 million people don't want to protest on the street and carry signs with my name, telling the government we're not going to pay our taxes, we're not going to cooperate, we're going to take all of our money out of the banks. I guarantee you Obama, the Congress, the Senate, and the state legislatures would be up in arms. They'd be getting up going, oh, wait a minute, you can't do that. If you go and do that, you're going to ruin our country. You're going to hurt us. So that's pretty much what happened. And before that, I actually got some newspaper stories written about me, and even those didn't hit the national news media. So, yeah, the country is full of hypocrites, tax-paying child killers who don't know anything about what this is all about. Anyway, I'm still waiting to see if somebody's going to show up so that I can get out of here. And I don't know. I'm living a very, very, what I call just a wandering life now. I have a bicycle, a shopping cart. I have 3 or 4 storages, and no relief in sight for all the damages that have been done. You know, there are lots of people in the world. They sit there and they, out of the last since 2009, I've had more than 6,000 people look at my tapes, and I've told them up front in all of my tapes. If you watch all of them, I'm very honest with everybody. I'm going to be ranting and raving the rest of my life, but in between those rants and raves are going to be very small hints of giant mentality, thoughts about life and my discoveries. But nobody cares. The mainstream media will not put me on the air because of the tax-paying, child-killing statements I will always make. And they're certainly not going to get me to stop, especially on national news media. I'm going to tell every voter. Now, of course, every voter is going to say, hey, we're not going to vote for this guy. He's putting us down. He's calling us child killers. Well, you are. You kill innocent men, women, and children in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Panama, in Vietnam. I don't need to go there. So, if I were you people, I would seriously think right now, before it gets any worse, about following my suggestions. Now, they call me the Emperor of the United States, but I'm not going to give a command. I don't need to give a command. You're the people. You're the ones that are supposed to command yourselves. You know your limitations. So you make the decision. You congregate, get together with as many, collectively join together with as many people as you can. Remember the Rainbow Coalition? And all on one day, tell the government what you're going to do. But before you tell them you're going to remove all your money from the banks, go do it on your own, secretly. Just go. Don't tell anyone other than just your friends and close associates. This way you'll catch them off guard. They won't know that everybody's going to show up at the banks on one day and take all their money out. The banks will argue with you and say, oh, what's wrong? Did we do something wrong? Yeah, your whole country is wrong. I may just leave this country and I need all my money now. That's what you need to tell them. That's all you need to tell them. I may leave this country and I want all my money now. So they'll be forced to give you your money. And remember the movie Network? Peter Finch sticks his head out the window and he goes, and Faye Dunaway's going, they're yelling in Minnesota, they're yelling in Kansas City. He says, I want you to stick your head out the window and say, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take any more of this. And so people were actually doing that. But instead of, see, that's just a movie. Instead of doing that, what good is yelling out your window? Hell with that. Do something that's really going to do some damage. Now, of course, the government will tell you, look, if everybody at one day takes all their money out, you're going to bring this country to its knees. That's exactly what you want. Because when you do that, and you have the right spokesman, a person like me, I'll be able to show up and say, hey, get out of the White House. Empty the halls of Congress. Caesar's going to now play Simon Says, and you are going to do exactly what he says. And no one is going to violate or counter anything that he says to do. Now, I'm not going to say take command of the army and say start killing people. Now, I've gone into rants and raves in the past, but that's just not me. I mean, I'm a Gandhiist. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. You got to be crazy or sick, really sick in the mind to do that. But see, the police are no different than the criminals. They beat up people too. They lose control. They have like you ever seen sharks in a frenzy feeding? That's what police were doing to Rodney King. There was like a frenzy there. It's like a contagious disease. Once one starts beating one-on-one, a whole slew of them start enjoying watching it. It's a sick animal thing that you should have the power to be in control of it. Anyway, so we're 9 minutes into this, and so the answers here are simple. They're all around you. Now, I'm probably not going to be with you much longer. You know, I mean, eventually I'm going to die soon. So, I'll be glad when that happens. I mean, you'll all hear me. I'll be on my deathbed. I'll make a YouTube for my deathbed say, I'm so glad that it's over. And that's exactly what you're going to hear me say. I'm so damn glad. Because all you people did is hurt me, hurt me, hurt me. Took every one of my possessions, my cars, my boats, my motorhomes. You took even my health supplements. You took cases and cases that are just were if they're still sitting there, I don't know, all in storage, sitting there probably going into their expiration dates because you people interfered in my health as well by doing what you did. Instead of saying, well, we don't like you, we don't like your ugly trucks and your cars, and you don't have a place to put them, here's some money, leave California. I would have left it more than 20 years ago. Matter of fact, I was looking for somebody to help me leave. Nobody would help me. And in the last 3 years, I've done all these YouTubes, and again, nobody came forward to help me. There's no God. This being that you people believe in, all the different religions, you're being flim-flammed. It's the biggest spiritual con job you could ever imagine. And the baddest part about all this is you can't do anything about it. So, and neither can I. The only thing you can do is know your limitations and know that by hurting people in any way, you're only feeding these anomalies that you think are God. They feed off of that negative and ugly and hurtful energy. They feed off of that. It's like a situational irony. That's a perfect word for it. If there's such a thing as perfect, and I don't believe in perfect, but it's very close to perfect. Ideal statement is a situational irony. And these ironies cannot be broken because you're part of the Catch-22 environment. So anyway, it's about 12 minutes into the thing. I'm going to go ahead and end this. I'm very tired, and I want to find time to go to sleep so I can not think of these memories and be constantly reminded everywhere I look. I had so many possessions. Everywhere I look, I'm reminded of something that was taken from me. Everywhere I look. I'll explain that in another video someday if I live long enough. Talk to you people later.